Happy Friday, everyone. Today's video is a little bit broader than Young County, but so I want to say to my fellow Texans, I'll talk a little bit about Young County, but this is an issue that I think I see in Texas as a whole. So I'm going to talk about the water districting, which also leads us to discuss the data centers. And so just to kind of catch up, some people, I do educational videos on things that I found out, or I do educational videos on how things are processed, because a lot of people don't know how things work. So I try to educate, and then I will give my opinion on some things. So first of all, Young County has a proposed data center that could possibly come in, and unfortunately it upset our county judge election because the voters that did turn out voted on one issue, which was the data center, and they thought they could stop the data center by electing a different judge. And guess what? You're not going to stop the data center coming to Young County. So then they're saying they're voting on the abatement. Well, we don't want to give abatements to data centers. So let's look at what that looks like, and then that's going to lead us into discussing water districting, and I'll give you my opinion about that. So the abatement process has been discussed over and over again, but just to give a quick glimpse, there's a standard abatement process that the county commissioners have the authority to use. There's a standard template that they can use from the state of Texas for any industry that, would be increasing their amount of business or coming into a county. They could do an abatement. An abatement is a discount on taxes. Okay, well, they can also structure their own, which is called a pilot program, payment in lieu of taxes. So the county commissioners have this authority and this power to do that. Why would they do that? I've asked a lot of questions myself. I hated abatements. I'm okay with pilot programs on big industries coming in. Why? And what does it look like? Let's see what a pilot could look like with negotiating out with a data center, similar to what we've seen in negotiations on our latest solar farm. You can negotiate out property setbacks. So any industry coming in, a data center or someone else, coming into your county and they want a discount on taxes, commissioners, the judge and the commissioner's court can say, all right, we'll give you a little discount on taxes, but this is what we need in return. We need setback on property lines so that you're not up against the fence of your neighbor. Because in the rural counties, you can build to your fence line. Your property line starts and stops at, you may not have a fence, but your property line. In rural Texas, you can build to the property line. Your rights start and stop on the property line. However, through the power, the authority of an abatement from the court could put that restriction on them that they have to have so much of a setback. They did it. They did it with the solar farm. Wynn Graham did it with the solar farm, where they could not build solar up to the property line. So you could have that. You can have where they don't drill any water wells. So they're not tapping into a water table and they have to get their water from another source where it's sometimes trucked in. I actually researched some data centers that truck in their water for their closed loop system. That's something that you can put in a pilot. So setbacks, water restrictions of what they can do, their electricity. Okay, if you want to come into our county, you either have to bring your own power, which I believe data centers are looking at that. Natural gas generators can power up these data centers, and we have natural gas in Texas. So those are things that can be put in there. Hey, your data center is going to require or need special protection from the fire department. Maybe equipment that your rural county doesn't already have. So, hey, we need y'all to pay for that. So that maybe it's a ladder truck, maybe it's special training. Who knows? But these are things that you can require through a pilot abatement. Okay? You can say, we don't want y'all to park. Oh, here's a crazy day. We don't want y'all to have all this construction traffic on the weekends. We don't want you to have all of this parking on the side of the highway. We don't want you to have lights. Oh my gosh, the lights, all the lighting. You can say it has to be at a certain level through a pilot program. You can say decibels, noise decibels. They can have a certain level of noise decibels during the day and then at night. All of this already exists. All of this authority and this power to control the fears that people have of data centers coming into rural Texas. I'm not talking municipalities. Do not get these confused. If a data center is coming into rural Texas, the authority and the power to restrict it and customize to the specific needs of the county already exist through your commissioner's court. And there's voters voting against this. And I'm like, you're voting against the authority that already exists to protect the county. Okay? Right. Hang in there with me, please. Now, let's say it's a $3 million discount and we're only going to get, $3 million a year or something. Let's say it's a 40% discount. Let's say it's a 20% discount. I don't care. It's more money than zero. We didn't have any of that money to begin with. So whatever money we do get is in surplus of our existing budget. So it's a win-win, right? We get the surplus from the data center, but we also get the specific need restrictions that we want. We don't want them touching our water supply. We don't want big lights. We want a scheduled construction. We want this, we want this. We need this, we need this. Whatever we want and need, right now in our local governments, we have the power to negotiate that out. So I'm going to say, Win Graham, please, for the sake of the safety of our county, negotiate out a pilot before you leave office December 31st. Please. Because I do not believe that it's the majority of our people that are against this. I believe it's the majority of the people that turned out to vote. Because our data center, or any data center in Texas, they've got pros and cons. But you know what? It's going to bring revenue. And we all need revenue in our rural counties. All of our rural counties need revenue. So use the power wisely and negotiate this out. Voting for a different judge isn't going to stop a data center. We said this before, and guess what? They're coming. And now, let me tell you why data centers want abatements, okay? Because of their investors. Data centers want abatements because of their investors. Investors say, you need specific level of community involvement. You need this, you need that. Well, guess what? There's been such a pushback on data centers now. The investors are like, well, we tried. We're coming anyway. Investors are waving to the developers, no, you may not have to have that. We're going to be okay with that, okay? So they're going to come. They're going to come to rural Texas. I had it. Okay, we talked about the pros of abatement. Let's talk about if we did not do an abatement. No abatement whatsoever. We're hard strong, we're hard nosed, we're not giving a discount. You're going to pay your taxes, all right? Well, a data center development does not start paying taxes until they're online, until they're in production, right? They're in business. So they don't pay the taxes during construction. That could be 1 to 3 years of construction. So we deal with all of the construction traffic. They can drill water wells wherever they want, unless you're in a water district. We're going to get to that too. They can build right up to their property line. They can put up as many lights as they want. They can be as broad as they want. They can be as loud as they want, because it's rural Texas and we have rights as a landowner to do whatever we want in rural Texas. And we want to maintain those type of rights because that's the freedom and that's the culture and that's Texas. True Texans do not want to give up their landowner rights. Okay? But we get all of this pushback. Well, wait a minute. I've got my 20-acre, quote, ranch. I got my 20-acre ranch and I'm next door and I don't want anybody doing this to me. Or I got my 100-acre ranch and I don't want anybody disrupting my peace. Well, guess what? We could have controlled some of that peace if you negotiate out a pilot program with the data center. You can negotiate some of that peace. So the state of Texas, let's talk about what they're doing, right? Tuesday, there was a hearing to talk about our water resource in the state. David Spiller is our House rep. He has 12 counties in his House rep. Let's see, I wrote down all the counties just so we could all know. Throckmorton, Shackelford, Eastland, Jack, Young, Cook, Montague. Maybe I didn't write them all 12 down. Clay, Palo Pinto, Young, and Jack. Okay. So the state is like, all right, y'all are scared of data centers using the water. Well, what we can propose, which is what our state rep has proposed to Jack County, we can propose that y'all go into a water district and we will help conserve the water and we will help conserve who uses it, when, where, and how. Think about this. We have a fear of something. We're not using the existing authority that we already have. We're not using that authority. And the state's answer to our fear of water consumption is more government control. Let's do a water district. Some of them could be levied and some could not. But you know what that does? It puts everyone in the rural area under the water district. So everyone that owns 100 acres or 20 acres, or if you live out of the city limits, someone's going to tell you what you can and cannot do with your water well. And how much can you use out of your own water well? And can you drill another water well? So landowners, do you want to give up your rights to the water on your property? Because that's what's going to happen. So I met with David Spiller. I've always been a supporter of David Spiller. David Spiller is in a position right now. He has 12 counties. 5 of them are already in a water district, which means you've got rules of your water in the county. 7 of them are not in a water conservation district. He has proposed, hey, to these 7 counties, there's not a formal proposal on the table for Young County, but he says, I can propose to elect, and it would be an election of the people. We could propose to have an election to come into a water conservation. And then that will tell the data center what they can and cannot do. But however, it tells everybody, not just the data center, it tells everybody what they can and cannot do with their water wells. This is groundwater. So I'm kind of like Bobby Sweatnam. I love his words. Best government is less government. So we already had the power and the authority to restrict what we need. We can work with industry. We can say, sure, you can come in. This is what we need. We need water conservation, so we want to limit how much water you're using. We need lower lighting. We need lower decibel noise. We need these things in our county, so let's negotiate that out through our pilot program. No. What we've done is thrown a fit, offered no solution, so the state comes in with a solution, and now what's happening in the state of Texas is more counties are being proposed to go into a water district. I personally don't want to lose the rights to my own water. And I don't care what they say. Oh, it's not going to apply here. It's not going to apply there. Oh, you would be exempt for now. It's a slippery slope. Once you create another taxing entity, it's a slippery slope. I don't care. More government cannot be the answer to our fears. We're smarter than that, Texans. We're smarter than that. So David Spiller, he gave me a lot of cool facts. And I know he's in a position where he's got counties that are in fearful of what's going on, and this is his proposal. That's great. But he's told me, quote unquote, I don't care if they take it or not. I'm just offering it as a solution. So I agree with him. He's got to offer something from his position, his office. Some interesting facts. I asked him if he's toured any data centers. He has. He says that the data center in Stargate in Abilene, I believe right now, is the world's largest projected, but I think there's already plans of another one somewhere. But Abilene Stargate is the world's largest. It is generating $1 million an hour in revenue. $1 million an hour in revenue. Honey, data centers aren't going anywhere if they're making that much money. You're not going to stop them. You got to work with them. So Ryan Moat approached City Council yesterday. He brought up a text message that was over a year old between Wynn Graham and the mayor, the judge and the mayor. And it was about, Ryan was like, oh, y'all are under pressure because the judge is saying, hey, we need to get in the game. Well, hell yeah, we need to get in the game. That was over a year ago when Wynn Graham sent that message. It's old news. But Wynn Graham saw on the horizon, these data centers are coming, and you need to work out an agreement with them. Because the city of Graham, they need revenue. And it's got to come from the taxpayers if we don't find it coming from somewhere else. So, like I said, that he went yesterday and talked about this text message that was over a year old. And I'm like, and it was a text message that Wynn provided to the newspaper because they didn't open public records, and Wynn provided everything. He has nothing to hide. So, yeah, if they're producing $1 million an hour, people, like the big one, I mean, let's just say they're producing $200,000 an hour, a small one, a fit that size. That's a lot of revenue. I mean, hell, our tax discount is peanuts to them. We need to work with these people. This is a business. Something else David Spiller mentioned to me. Trump said this is a matter of national security because we do not want another country to be in the lead of data management. And I 100% agree with that. I do not want China storing and controlling our stored cloud data. And everyone thinks it's just AI and it's just social media. No, it's not just that. It's anything with the cloud. Think of all the businesses that we use and all of the programs. Everything in my business is on the cloud. Photos, accounting, everything. So businesses, operations, everything. This is the cloud. We don't want that residing in another country. We want it stored on servers in our country. So 1, Trump said it's a national security. We need to be the leaders of data management. 2, Abbott said, I want to be number 1. I want Texas to be the leader because you know what? We're big. We're big and bad. Abbott wanted it, right? So we're number 2 right now, according to what David Spiller shared with me. Virginia is leading us in data centers, and we're number 2. So it's coming. Abbott did an interview. Abbott said they need to provide their own water sources and they need to provide their own power sources. Something I've discovered is data centers really are not the fear of water, although you think they might be. Data centers are not the fear of water. It's the power sources, the power plants that are using the water that provide power to the data centers. So if they're using the natural gas generators, that's not such a heavy load on the power plants. I'm just talking out loud of solutions to our problem instead of saying no abatement, no data center, and we're going to vote somebody into office that we think can stop this. We can't. I'm sorry. It's going to come. It's going to come. Let me go over the rest of my notes. National security concern is what he talked about. Shackelford County, they love their data center. He said there was one resident in Shackelford County that was complaining about the data center outside of Albany. Shackelford County is getting $10 million a year off of that data center to the county budget. Now, let me put a closure out here. It's not necessarily the county budget that needs the revenue. It's the city of Graham budget. It's the hospitals. It's the city of Olney. They're the ones that need the extra revenue. It's where you live that needs the extra revenue. The county can get by on what we've got. I mean, we do pay taxes, probably too much, but we could get very large homestead exemptions, very large, almost to nothing with the revenue from a data center. Okay, let me keep going. The 2 water districts that we could possibly join, if it was proposed, it has not been proposed to Young County. The Upper Trinity Water District, it's a non-levy water district or conservation district, I think is what they call it. Again, I'm completely against these water districts because, again, it just takes over more landowner rights. And Texas is not an HOA, people. Not. So Upper Trinity, and then there's 4 counties there: Montague, Wise, Parker, and Hood. Then there's the Middle Trinity, that is another water district. That's a levied water district. And you have to pay taxes. It's a levied, meaning taxes. So what happens if a proposal of a water district comes in? And I've had some friends say, hey, why don't we have a water district? That'll just solve the problem, right? And I said, no, we don't want more government. We don't want more government control of our resources. We've had enough government control. But I'm afraid that the counties have pushed back so hard on these data centers and this new industry in our state that the state is going to create big government, and the state is going to take over control more and more, where county commissioners have less and less. And I said to David Spiller, I really would like to have seen my state legislature, my rep, my governor, all the state, I'd like to have seen them educate the public more. Hey, people, you have legitimate fears, but they can be handled through the commissioner's court with an abatement program. We can help. I said, why is the state not consulting on, hey, these are the fears, this is what we're suggesting, put it in your pilot program. That's where the data centers are coming in. That's what I wanted from my state. I wanted my state of more support to the county authority. I wanted my state to consult more to the county authority, because that power and that authority already exists. That's what I wanted from my state of Texas. What am I getting from my state of Texas? More control of our resources. They're creating more government, more water districts, and I'm completely against it. If you own land, you own the water that comes out of it, in my opinion. So if they propose a water district in your county, then the commissioner's court can accept the proposal for an election, and it does have to be elected on with the people. So it has to be a vote. And these counties, I'm telling you, it is astonishing me, the lower turnout of voters. When you tell me your vote doesn't count and you don't take this serious and you don't go vote, it's damn serious. It's getting damn serious every day. So, November of 2027 is when some elections in some counties will come up for a water district. So be watchful eye for that, people. Be watchful eye for that. Tax abatement, and I can't tell you how many times when I spoke with David Spiller, he said, Tiffany, you're 100% correct. But he's in a position of trying to help people with their fears of water resource or other things. And I'm like, hey, we're going to have a water district now that controls the water. That's hypothetically what the state's saying. But then if we have lighting issues, we'll just create another government. We'll just create another entity to monitor that. Oh, we have noise pollution in the counties. Oh, let's just create another. Is that the answer to everything? Is another government? More government? No. Best government is less government. Bobby Swetnam's quote. I'll use it forever. Through the pilot program, you can control noise. You can do setbacks. You can control the lighting. You can control the water usage. I did speak with someone that worked at a data center. I'm not going to say who this person is because people attack crazy. Closed loop systems, they're speaking correctly. They do not use the water that y'all think they do. Don't go throwing at me all your videos of your town hall meetings everywhere. I'm talking to the people that are inside the data center that see it every day, and they monitor how much is being used. So data centers, if they get an investor on board, if they have the investor support and they sell to the top 4, which is like Google, Microsoft, Amazon, there's one other. If they can get the conceptual of their designs sold to one of those 4, it's Katie bar the door, they're coming. And I'm pretty sure that our local one there in Graham, pretty sure they got the clearance. I think they got the clearance to do it with or without an abatement. So I'm going to close my video. This is the longest one ever. I rambled. I don't want a water district. I'm against them. I don't like the support that the state of Texas is offering to these counties. I think they should be supporting the commissioner's court and the judges more and using that authority there to restrict what the data center needs for every county. Not every county has the same needs. So I think they should use that. 3, I'm begging Wynn Graham, please put a pilot in place for our data center before you leave office, for the sake and protection of the neighboring properties and the sake of the protection of the whole county. And I hope and pray that it all works out for everybody. I love you guys. I hope this was helpful. Be watchful for the water district conversations. Bye.